Wine reflects so many nuances of where it comes from, the culture that it grew up with, and the food that it pairs to. It's never ending. My name is Drinkle, and I work with wine. At some point during my university career, I became interested in wine, but it was just another passing interest, just another thing to stay up late reading about. And it wasn't until long after I completed my philosophy degree that I realized wine is something you could actually make money at. But I saw this as something that was exciting as a discipline that's almost perpetually fascinating. That the more you learn about it, it just opens up all these other doors where you can, if you have the time and means, learn even more about it. This, of course, immediately separated it from all of my other interests. And it's not that I necessarily love wine more than I love punk music now, but it is the case that it pays me a lot better. Music has always been a really strong interest, a passion, a distraction. So at a very young age, I learned how to play guitar and various other instruments, and have been playing in what can loosely be called bands for most of my life. And there came a point where that was relatively time consuming, and that various bands I was working with would be on record labels, and spent a lot of time in a van together, which is kind of the most fun and at times most inconvenient days of my life. The first mind blower for me wasn't that this wine is so amazing, I need to drink this all the time. It was the first real shocker was that wine A tastes different than wine B. Why? And you look into it, is it the grape? Is it the place that it comes from? Is it the multitude of minutiae of detail that the winemaker or I should say wine grower might have pursued in bringing that wine into fruition? Could be any number of things, and I'm still trying to figure that out. Not necessarily for those two wines, but for all wines. I thought that the place to be in the wine industry was not working retail. I thought the place to be was on the distributing side of things. I wanted to be a wine agent. And somehow I talked someone into giving me a job as a junior sales agent. I was in a criminal situation where wine was being marginalized and trying to be made as uninteresting as possible. And trust me, it's really hard to make wine uninteresting. But this company was doing a really good job of it. I was spending most of my time at a shop called Metro Vino in the Beltline in Calgary, and they would always set up blind tasting situations for me when I was studying for my sommelier diploma, and basically treated me as an equal, because they could tell that I really loved wine, as everybody there did. And this place had the most interesting wines from the most obscure places. Then it was a huge revelation to me, just a major epiphany when I thought, I however much money I'm making working for this agency, and it wasn't a lot, it was more than I'd ever seen in my life, but that's when I thought I'm willing to give all this up and just wake up excited about what I do every day and hang out with these people who love wine. My boss, Richard, is as great of an employer as anybody on the planet could possibly hope for, and has created this small institution of wine-loving freakazoids where nobody would ever get called out for being too excited about wine. For a lot of wine consumers, what I love about wine is what they find the most intimidating aspect of it. It's just, there's too many bottles with too many weird esoteric French words on it, or German jargon and too many umlauts and stuff, and it's just intimidating. I'd rather just drink this bottle every day. But it is the myriad options that we have, and that idea of dissonance of flavor that can be affected by so many variables, like an endless number of variables in the wine itself. My job, first and foremost, is to recommend the wine to the individual in question that they're going to enjoy most. Whether or not their way of using it is laid out to me or not, just something that they're going to really enjoy. And that seems very simple, and it is. But if they want the full story as to how the wine came to be, where it came from, the precipitous, insane hillside that it was harvested from, and under which conditions, the story of the people who brought it to life, whatever it might be. There's so many layers to wine and my job is there to chip away at them, to peel them back to whatever extent the consumer is looking for. One thing that's really important to us is working with artisanal producers, not just to be elitist, but because I think such producers are a lot more connected to the place that the wine comes from. And wine that tastes good is interesting on one level, but wine that's representative of the place that it comes from, the growing season that it was born in, and the fascinating culture, if not individuals, that bring it into fruition. Now you have something that's tastes like it's in high definition, or something that smells in stereo. In the end, people should just drink wine that they feel tastes good. That's why we drink wine, is for something that's tasty. But as you begin just to even scratch at the surface of it, it immediately becomes so much more eminently fascinating and compelling. Yeah, it is just wine, but what else is there to get excited about, if not something that tastes really, really good?